if someone could tell Malik in Discord, Malik and Elden Bruno, the match will be verified after this game. Yeah, but this is our second game in the doubleheader tonight. This is going to be a Chaos Renegades mirror match. And this time up, we're going to have the Juxtaposed Juggernauts versus Street Fighters Turbo Max War Horsemen versus Ian. Chaos reigns supreme on the pitch tonight. Let's take a look at these two rosters. First up is the home team, Juxtaposed Juggernauts. They're coming in with a 12-player roster at a TV of 1,470,000 gold, 1 apothecary, 3 dedicated fans, 3 rerolls. He has all 3 big guys, so Chaos Renegades can carry 3 big guys out of 4 choices. They can choose between a Minotaur, an Ogre, a Rat Ogre, and a Troll. He's picked up a Minotaur, an Ogre, and a Rat Ogre. Those are the 3 I love the most. We've seen the Rat Ogre used to great effect by El Nubarino in the game played just moments ago. He has the Minotaur as well. The Minotaur also has Frenzy, has picked up Block and Mighty Blow. He has 2 Block, Mighty Blow, Frenzy players, and look at Rizzo, this Rat Ogre also has Claw. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. So that Rat Ogre treats everybody's AV as if it's 8+, gets a +1 to the armor or the injury roll, has the block skill, and has Frenzy to chuck more dice. This is a murderous ogre, a Rat Ogre. He picked up Guard on Grendel, which is a great pickup for this ogre as well, because you don't want to be chucking dice every single turn with this ogre. You'll probably have him in a position where he's going to be eating up space and controlling the pitch. Guard's going to help him do that by allowing other players to kind of do the same. If he picks up something like Stand Firm, that could make the ogre even stronger in that position. He has a kicker in Ralph, a great pickup once you start picking up some of these other skills you want, right? Which he's done. He has a number of players with block. He has a Blodger in Yolanda, a Blodger with extra arms, and kick can often be slept on, but it's a great skill to pick up when you're up against, say, a really fast or a really slow team. If you're up against a Dwarven team, maybe you kick that ball all the way in the end zone and they spend 3 turns trying to bring it up to you. Maybe if they're up against a fast team, you kick that ball really shallow and you fight them toe-to-toe, head-to-head, right at the line of scrimmage. So a decent skill here for the Juxtaposed Juggernauts. They're going to be up against Ian's Street Fighters Turbo Max. I will be referring to them as ST. Please forgive me if I don't explain that. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo is colloquially known as ST, so I often call them ST. 12-player roster coming in TV of 1,480,000 gold. Negligible difference in TV, so the inducement phase, not a whole lot's going to happen. Lots of skills on this roster. Look at what Ian has been able to accomplish with this team so far. He has spread the SPP out across the entire team. He has the same 3 big guys. He has Mr. Bison, the Minotaur. First of all, the naming is on point. He has Akuma the Rat Ogre. He has Zangief the Ogre as well. He picked up Brawler on Zangief. Brawler is like a poor man's... well, let's just call it Brawler. I don't want to call it a poor man's anything. So this allows you to re-roll a both down result, which could be very useful. He has a Guard on the Ogre as well. He has, of course, the Rat Ogre and the Minotaur have Mighty Blow and Frenzy. He has Dan. Dan must have random into Shadowing. Maybe that'll come into play tonight. But he does have 2 heads on Dan, which is a solid pickup. Ryu inexplicably has a broken arm. No fireballs for Ryu tonight. But he does have a big hand. I guess if you're not going to throw fireballs, you just have a big hand, you just swat people with it. Hadouken! He has the block skill on Ryu too. Also has a kicker tonight. I think this is our first game this season with 2 kickers on the pitch. Skullomania with Claws. Remember, Claws treats everybody's AV as if it were an 8+. So this is going to be a really effective skill in tonight's matchup. Has Pro. He has Lord Raptor. I don't know who Lord Raptor is. He has Lord Raptor, who has Pass and a safe pair of hands, and of course he has Guile. Guile is the Goblin. He has extra arms. It gives him a +1 on a pickup or a catch. It also means that he has a player with the right stuff, so he can throw Guile with. There we are with Zangief here. He has throw teammate, and he can get a 1 turn out of that if he needs to. But even if he doesn't get the 1 turn touchdown out of that, it's still something for the opponent to be mindful of, because once you get about 3/4 of the way down the pitch, you start getting into quick pass territory. Now maybe the offense has this other option. They don't want to take it because passing is very, very risky in this game. There's lots of die rolls involved, especially with throw teammate. But it does give them another option that you have to be mindful of. You don't really want to give away that quick pass to a touchdown and kick yourself for it. You're like, oh man, I didn't see that. Really have to pay attention for the throw teammate once they get about 3/4 down the pitch. Otherwise, you have to look out for the one turn with them. 4 rerolls on this roster, 1 dedicated fan, 2 assistant coaches, 1 cheerleader, 1 apothecary. I do not know how this game's going to go down. Normally, I'll pontificate and try to guess who's the leader on paper, but I don't know. It's hard to say. I think the Juxtaposed Juggernauts have a lot of kill skills, and I think they can get the player advantage early if they're able to leverage them. I think if Ian can put a stop to them, maybe position some key players to move that Minotaur, move that Rat Ogre out of position, or maybe take a foul on some of these important pieces on Juxtaposed Juggernauts roster, he'll have a lot of he has a lot more varied skills. He has some ball control skills that he can leverage to try to come out on top tonight. Anybody's ball game. This is the final game of this competition for both teams. Bad Dog says the Juggernauts have the advantage. Fair enough. We'll see if that plays out that way here tonight. I'm going to head over to Discord, see if both coaches are ready to go, and if they are, we'll get the second game underway. Looks like they are. Both coaches are in Discord, so we'll wait for their game to start. And while they do, I should probably rename this, huh? There we go. At the beautiful Juggernauts Drome? Juggernauts Arena? I love that water. I think that's great. Showing off. Their stadium is flooding. That's how they keep the grass so lush. Five fan factor for the Juggernauts, 3 for ST. Nothing to do in the inducement phase. And indeed, they just click through. Here's the coin toss to get this game underway. Clear skies for the second game this evening. ST wins the coin toss. They're going to elect to start on offense and control the tempo of this game. The Juggernauts to set up their defense. Juggernauts setting up with 3 on the line, spread very wide. He set them up into a series of columns. And then has 2 columns in either wide zone, giving up the sidelines. These aren't really passing teams, so he doesn't have to worry too much, and also not at a speed disadvantage. Well, no, definitely not at a speed disadvantage. So really the name of the game for this defense is just going to be staying in front of this ball and preventing that rushing or running game, I should say. I need to stop calling it a rushing game. All right, has 1 safety. All three linebackers lined up very tightly behind the defensive line. ST to set up their offense. 4 rerolls per half for this team. Boot Polish praying to Nuffle. Welcome to the stream. El Duberino, welcome to the stream. Congratulations on your win. El Duberino says, so swarming was totally not a factor in that game. By the end of the game, I only had 11 players left anyway. Swarm nerf is unwarranted. Fair enough. Fair enough. But unfortunately, it is out of the game, at least for the time being. Here's the kick. Middling kick. Gets a D2 on the blitz. 5 unmarked players get to move for the defense. Ball kicked in the left, wide zone on the 14-yard line. Hank the Ranger says, yeah, actually, Ramblon needs to be nerfed. Ramblon is obscene. It's an obscene player. Blitz right out of the gate. 3-die blitz with Rizzo, the Rat Ogre. Gets a push here. Frenzy follow-up into a 2-die. Gets the power he's looking for. Mighty Blow means a 7+. Breaks Guile's armor. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Oh! No armor break on Guile. Moves Grendel, number 2 Ogre, forward a space. And now Tom Zarek, everybody's favorite quote-unquote human, advances toward the ball. I think that's all of his move. No, he's got one more. He's going to move the Skaven. Yolanda, a Blodger, number 10, is going to move toward the ball as well. Being very aggressive on this ball. The ball's going to bounce one space back to the 16, just off the left sideline. Turn 1 now for ST. ST positioning players back toward this ball. So all this talk, one of the things I like about competitive games like this are when there are rebalancing, right? Nerfs and buffs. Same thing with fighting games. When I used to play X-Wing competitively, every wave since I would say wave 4 was just about trying to find the most broken combination. There was one point in the game where there was a list. It was called Manaru. You had these 2 ships. They're supposed to be like utility ships. And so you'd have a list. You'd have a squad. You know, some people could run up to like 8 ships, right? So you'd run anywhere from, generally speaking, 2 to 8. But if you had 2, the idea was that you have 2 really strong ships, but I could focus down fire on one of them, right, very easily. Well, this was a list where you had these 2 ships where one ship didn't even have to participate in the game, and it just gave you these passive buffs. So you'd run this list. Good armor break with the Rat Ogre here, gets a stun out of it. You'd have one ship doing all the damage, and you could make your die rolls insanely accurate with it, with this other ship that would just stay in the corner of the table. It was ridiculous. Cord Knight, welcome to the stream, says X-Wing was great, but Armada is better. I love both games very much. Armada is a fantastic game. My big concern, I used to play that a little bit competitively, but my big concern with Armada, so Armada as a game, marvelous. I love Armada. But competitively, I had a problem with it because Armada's a long game, and I really pushed. I really wanted Armada to just be a double elimination game. Like, I wanted tournaments to be double elim. I think that fixes all the problems with Armada. But a lot of gamers have an expectation that they're going to play all day, and so they play Swiss rounds. Well, Armada's so long that you can't get in enough rounds in a single day to really determine a cut to top 4. So what they did was they said, okay, well, you're going to get, there's going to be a point system. There's 11 points, and depending on how many ships you blow up and how many objectives you score or whatever, you will get some chunk of those 11 points, and you could score 10-1. Well, all that really meant was, in order to make the cut, you wanted to win 10-1 3 times. And so you would build lists to basically table your opponent. And that meant 2 things. One, it meant the most interesting part of Armada to me was the mission objectives. They meant nothing in this format. And 2, everyone had the exact same list. And so it was really frustrating to me. But if you just play it like kind of casually, it is a really well designed, really fun, fantastic game. Yeah, VBNet says that Armada didn't get messed up by a rework like X-Wing did. Yeah, so I was super excited for X-Wing 2nd Edition, and then it came out, and I think at one point I called it Star Wars Yahtzee. I was really disappointed how the game just kind of boiled down to die rolls. Like, it was very difficult. The way they decided to balance it was to just give you no agency to make dice more reliable. And then I just stopped playing at that point. I was like, I don't want to play this. AZ asked, did you play Imperial Assault as well? I didn't. I mean, I have played Imperial Assault. I don't like Imperial Assault. I don't like Descent 2nd Edition. I like Descent 1st Edition a lot. Oh, that's cool. If you had a scene where that worked out, that's good to hear. It wasn't like that here. Like, I was at the 2017 FFG World Championship. I was there for X-Wing. I didn't play Armada there. But the Armada champion, like, the top 8 in Armada, everyone literally had the same list. In fact, I tell this story a lot, but during the finals match that year for Armada, nobody was watching. I mean, there was like 10 people watching. The rest of us were in the back playing different games. And so we were playing a game called Hamster Roll. We were there with the Gold Squadron podcast guys and you know, like Paul Heaver and stuff. And we were playing a game called Hamster Roll. It's a really silly game where you just have this wheel and you're trying to put, yeah, Hamster Roll's great. So we were playing that. And at one point, so FFG was streaming the game. And at one point, you just, like, nothing's happening in the game. Like, just a player is, or I think they're setting dials. And you just hear the crowd go, yeah! And the commentator's like, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but the crowd really loves it. What happened was somebody knocked all the pieces out of the hamster roll wheel. Frenzy follow-up here. This is not gonna work out. Is he gonna try to get through the loner roll here? He does and succeeds, gets a push out of it. Von Rue, welcome to the stream. 50 seconds left on the clock in turn 2. ST with possession of the ball. They're going to move the ball up to their own 6-yard line. Vega currently in possession. 2-dive block on Tom Zarek. Gets a pal. Kill that Cylon. $15 seconds left in the turn for ST. They have 3 rewheels left. Trying to keep their formation together here. They don't want to get too tight with this offense. They want to stay spread out as much as possible, just to prevent the defense from kind of swinging around to one side. BB Nuts says a similar story. I used to do a Game of Thrones LCG YouTube channel. I was a Game of Thrones LCD YouTube channel. I was recording games from a story championship. During the cut, a load of people were playing werewolf, and my mic caught a massive chair as they caught the final wolf in a tense game. So I have a werewolf story too. So we were playing werewolf once. I don't remember the exact details. Like I don't remember who I actually. Well, I was the werewolf. I don't remember who I pretended to be, but we were playing werewolf. And I was the werewolf. And when we opened our eyes, I said something. And I was like, I'm the so-and-so because I saw such and such. But I said the wrong role. I did this deliberately, by the way. So I said the wrong role. And they were like, wait, how could you see that? That role can't look at cards that way. And I was like, oh no, I messed up. I'm so sorry, guys. I really screwed the game up. And they're like, oh, don't worry about it. Yeah, we'll just keep playing. You know, everybody messes up. And they ignored me for the rest of the game. I was the werewolf. And there was one person the whole game who was like, you know, he could just be lying. Nobody listened to him. Turn 2 for the Juggernauts. They're going in strong on this cage. 2-die blitz with the Ratover gets a push. Into an uphill block. You have to be careful with this with Frenzy. He'll somehow get out of this alive. He'll get a push out of it. On Frenzy, you must follow up on that first block. And if that first block's not a knockdown, you have to take a second block. So you have to be... It can be great for getting dice on pieces, but you have to be careful that you're not frenzying into an uphill die roll. Happened to work out here, and now he's going to have a mark on the left side of the ball carrier. Push on Skullomania, everybody's favorite Street Fighter EX player. Frenzy follow-up into a knockdown. Mighty Blow means an 8+ to break armor. He's done it. It's a stun. I do miss the LCG format. Failed the opponent had to roll with the Ogre this time. Probably going to keep this and not re-roll this, but does this put him in a predicament? Oh boy, he did re-roll it. Got through the loader roll. I do regret I never got into the Warhammer LCG that FFG had, Conquest. I regret not playing that. I played, tried to dodge, get off the sideline here, didn't work out. That'll be a turnover. Yolanda not going to have her armor broken. I played L5R, I played Netrunner, which were both great. L5R is a little long, but I never played Conquest, and I kind of regret not playing it. All right, a couple of big guys on either side of Vega. If this were Street Fighter, he could just yo-ball out of here. BB Nuts says, I had a game of Battlestar Galactica where I had set it up and I was playing the long game as a Cylon. The game was going so well for the humans. People kept saying, Ben, you sure you put the Cylon in? And I kept having keep a straight face and said, I'm sure I did, knowing full well I had the card in front of me. I love BSG. BSG is a lot of fun. Frenzy Surf on Boris. Well done by ST. Good removal. Got a KO out of that. We'll see if that sticks. Well played by Street Fighter's Turbo Max. Yeah, I love Battlestar. Battlestar's a great game. Azek said L5R died so fast. Love the two decks. That was great. Yeah, L5R did die fast. I think L5R was just too long. It was a long game to play, but it's great. I really enjoyed it. Gets a push on Tom Zarek. Speaking of BSG. Let's see if his eyes are glowing. Oh, I can't tell. He's hiding it under a face mask. Takes a 1-die block. Had to do something here. Gets a push on Rizzo. This will be a good push. I don't think I've ever played the Arkham one. Maybe I played it once? Azek says, I don't mind card games on the longer side. Oh, me neither. Like, I don't mind long games at all. I will sit and play. I'll play a war game for a week. Like, I just think it was... Oh, no! Oh, the gobbo on the dodge, the serious injury. Oh, and he's lying on his back, flat as a pancake. Speaking of pancakes, that's Nuffles Pancakes, flattening of the day. When I'm down and out, I need something both delicious and nutritious to get me back on my feet.
This injury brought to you by Nuffles Pancakes. When you take a hit and feel licked, try the sweet and savory flavor of Nuffles Pancakes. Grab your butter and get back into the game with this Overlord's signature second breakfast. For nearly 3,000 years, this piping hot surprise has been healing hearts and mending breaks. Nuffles Pancakes. Buy one, get three while supplies last.
Delicious. 11 random ingredients, just the way Mom used to make. True story. 2-9 block on Lord Raptor gets a pal here. 8+ to break armor. He's broken it. Azix, thank you so much for the sub. Very kind of you. I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Shout outs to Von Rue for that ad spot. Yeah, I love long games. I think L5R was long for a competitive game. I think a lot of people just kind of shied away from it. They're like, I don't want to spend all that time. Thank you very much, Azek. I appreciate it. Very kind words. Gets the knockdown here. 6+ to try to recover this ball in the hands of Tom Zarek. Ball's going to scatter out to the left sideline on the 10-yard line. BB Nut says L5R when it dropped was massive. Yeah, I was there when it launched at Gen Con. Like, they had a whole production behind it. It was really cool. Yeah, Keyforge was another game I was into for a while. Then I think the pandemic killed Keyforge. Good armor break, gets a stun on Mr. Bison. Keyforge killed Keyforge. S'mores Dragon, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Welcome back to the stream, I should say. 12 months. That's so nice. Thank you very much, S'mores Dragon. I like Keyforge enough to get like special tokens. If I get special tokens, that means I like the game. 50-50 dodge here by Tom Zarek. Trying to go after this ball. Fails the dodge. Is the ball going to stay on the pitch? Oh, Tom Zarek badly injured. The ball will stay on the pitch. Moves one space to the right. That's a turnover. Turn 4 back to ST. Gonna beat up on Dan. That's what Dan's there for. Dan Hibiki. Hoopala says, what game do you play with Optimus Prime? I'm not sure what you mean, but if you mean a deck building game, this is a secret. I guess it's... Ah, no! No! Rizzo! You're too young for this! The apothecary trying to save his life. And he did. Oh, Doogie Howser saves the day. Great kill on the Rat Ogre, but the apothecary saves the big guy. Upo says, I wanted to hear about your toy. Oh, I did play the Transformers TCG. I know it sounds silly. I really liked it. I really liked it. Cagey Bliss. Refs glance at the crowd, and they give a thumbs down. CJ Mack, welcome to the stream. Any tips for new players? Yeah. So I think tips are going to differ wildly depending on who you ask. As far as what teams to play, I would argue, well, it's going to depend on your personality. So if losing makes you dejected, where to the point where you're like, I don't want to play this anymore, maybe pick up something like dwarves, because dwarves are kind of easy to grok. They're easy to understand their strategy, and they're very, very resilient. But if you really want to learn kind of broadly how to play, I would argue maybe pick up humans, because humans are jacks of all trades, masters of none. So humans win by being the opposite of whatever it is they're playing. And that can be challenging to do, but you will learn a lot about the game by playing them. Yeah, Undead's another good one. If you want to keep your motivation up, dwarves are a good pick. Undead is a good pick. Those would probably be the best two, I would say. Orcs are actually a really good pick. Elves might be a little too fragile unless you pick dark elves, until you start to kind of understand how the game is played. But my second bit of advice would be, this kind of sounds like homework, but learn how probability works. You're rolling so many dice in this game, and this game is a game of, it's not a game of luck, it is a game of luck mitigation. It is a game where you're trying to minimize the luck that you require to win and maximize the luck that your opponent requires to win. And that's going to require you to really understand what it means, like what are the odds of rolling a 3+ and a 3+, or what are the odds of, you know, on a 3-die block, you know, me getting a knockdown or something like that. That's a big piece of advice. Oh man, didn't get through the, oh no, he did get through the loader. He rolled skulls again. Oh, what a waste. And then that aside, some simple strategy or some simple tactics, I would say, is don't just run at the opposing team and base everyone. When we say base, we mean like, let's say you're here and there's the opponent. Don't just run up here and make base-to-base contact with him, because on the next turn he's going to get to block you, right? So, if you're going to base somebody, have a reason for it. Anything you do, have a reason for it. Don't just kind of do it willy-nilly. Think to yourself, like, if I base him, I'm giving him a block. Why am I doing that? Is that to my advantage? When you take a block, generally speaking, if you knock the opponent down, you're probably okay to follow up. If you don't knock the opponent down, if you just push them away, you're generally okay to stay put. But the best part of this game, in my opinion, is that there are so many decisions to make. You're given so much agency between the tactics you employ, the strategy you employ, the race you choose, the players you hire, the skills you pick up, that you can find a way to kind of play your own way and be successful with it and have a lot of fun. Oh, sure. You bet, Moo. There you go. Failed the rush here. Roll the 2+. So this is a good example, again, a good good advice for new players. If you're unfamiliar, when you move a player, you can move up to their movement allowance at the MA value here. So for Lord Raptor, it's a 6. So Lord Raptor can move 6 that's off screen. 6 spaces, right? Well, you can move an additional 2 spaces. That's called rushing. So he could move an extra space and even another extra space. But for each one of these spaces, you have to roll a d6. If you roll a 2+, you're good. Only a 1 fails. So you might think to yourself, oh, that's no biggie. It is biggie. Yeah, it's very big. Never roll dice unless you have a reason to do so. Like, don't just roll for extra spaces because that die roll might fail. And in fact, a 1 on a d6 is a lot more frequent than it seems on the surface, right? That's almost 17%. So, you know, it stands to reason if you do that 6 times, you'll fail 1 of them. Eva's drawing some will die soon. Oh no, the curse. So that's a very simple thing to kind of keep in your head, and just you can generalize that to never roll dice unless you have a reason to. Gets a knockdown on Ryu, number 8, human lineman with the broken arm. SPV graciously lowered the rush failure rate from 900% to 99%. CJ Max said going for it. Yeah, it used to be called going for it. It's called rush now, but it's the same principle. Sometimes it's warranted, but if you can't, you know, if I think the way I like to think of it is, like in the case of a rush, I say, okay, if I fail this rush, how screwed am I? If the answer is you're very screwed, then maybe I don't rush, right? And that is the same for all die rolls. CJ Max says, is BB3 worth it? I think it is. I think it's in a good place now. I feel comfortable recommending it. It's a lot of fun. It's got the new rules, so if you're used to Blood Bowl 2, the rules in Blood Bowl 3 are substantially different. It's a better balanced game. It's a ton of fun. I love it. S'mores Dragon. S'mores Dragon says Blood Bowl teaches you to accept your fate. So ST crossing the line of scrimmage has the ball on the opposing 6-yard line in a tight cage. Cage is marked on the left side. They're going to try to clear that up right here with a 3-die blitz. They get a push into a frenzy follow-up, 2-die frenzy follow-up. They're going to get a knockdown here. 9+ breaks armor with Mighty Blow. Heroes do come in all shapes and sizes. Very true. Fails the dodge with Ryu. He's going to stay on the pitch. That'll be a turnover. Turn 6 back to the Juggernauts. BB Nut says the AI sucks. It's only good, so it's only good if you want to play against other people. I would agree with that, with the caveat. If you are someone who can if you're someone who would play against the AI and get into bad habits, then I would recommend maybe not doing that. But if you're someone who can play the AI and recognize that maybe you've got more to learn, it could be a good way to just get your head around the rules, right? You can play the AI, you can start to understand sort of the flow of the game, the rules of the game, not make simple mistakes like, oh man, that was a 6+ dodge, but if doing that's going to put you into bad habits, I'd recommend maybe not doing that, just because you'll spend hours and hours playing the AI. You'll learn bad habits, and then you go to play people, and you'll be like, why is my whole team dead? Stands up Ferdinand to get a push on Lord Raptor. The frenzy follow-up will be a knockdown here. This is the thrower. Looking for an 8+ to break armor. He's done it. Gets a stun. KG Boo says, look, it doesn't matter. The game's going to break in about 4 hours once crossplay is implemented. Von Rue, thank you very much for the bits. Turn 7 now for SD. Penultimate turn. They've got to end this turn in scoring position. They've got a lot of pitch to move down. Spores Dragon. Oh my god, Ghost, that's their best song! Yeah, Ghost is great. 2-9 Blitz on Adelbert Legs. This will be a pal. Looks like the cage is going to set up on the opposing 16-yard line. We're going to get an orc on this line, Blanca. I saw the name Blanca. I was like, Blanca's not an orc, but that works. Yeah, CJ Mack, this is a great game. So Blood Bowl's been around for 40 years. Let's see, 86, I think. So, I mean, there's a reason it's been played all that time. It's a brilliant game. It's a ton of fun. Sports Dragon says, I was once walking through a park singing along to that song, not realizing someone was behind me. Someone was just walking behind you and you're just like, rats! Rats! You turn around, you're like, what? There's nothing you can do. They're coming after you. Turn 7 now for the Juggernauts. Juggernauts giving a wide berth of this offense. We'll see what the plan is to try to shut down the run. KG Moose says, to be fair, it's a challenging task to develop AI that can match the depth and complexity of human play in such a strategically rich game, poor old Cyanide. Yeah, it is. And I would also, I would add to that, in a lot of video games, the AI difficulty is basically just how much is the AI cheating, which you can't do in a board game, right? Because it's very obvious. Like, you can't change the die rolls and stuff. So Cyanide definitely has their work cut out for them. This is probably one of the hardest situations to develop a competent AI. Isaac says, did they forget about their prone human down player, or was he stunned? I think he was stunned, but actually I'm not sure. I think they actually did forget about him. Sports Dragon asks, are they taking player data from online matches to help train the UI? I have no idea. Oh boy, they take an uphill block here. Take an uphill block on Akuma. Oh, he's going to choose to push it. This could have been a turnover. He's going to choose to let the push happen. All those activations, there's going to be no stopping this offense here on turn 8. Turn 8 for ST. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that walk it in and take the lead 1-0. Well done. Hey, cheerleaders! Oh, don't hit yourself in the head. right, one turn left in this game. It's going to be the Juggernauts on offense. They'll get one turn unless there's a timeout. Do they have their ogre? Do they have somebody with right stuff? They do not, so they can't do throw teammate. If they get an extra turn on the timeout kickoff event, they might be able to get into the end zone and score to tie this ball game. If not, they will be on offense to start the second half of the game. Yeah, that's cool that they use Blood Bowl for AI competitions. I used to work on this project with, or it was headed up by Stanford. It was called General Gameplaying, and the idea was, so in games, generally speaking, you design an AI to specifically play that game, and General Gameplaying is you design an AI to play any game. So you feed the AI a set of rules, and then it parses those rules and then devises a strategy. It was really cool. It was fun to sort of research and kind of understand the various and sundry topics required to understand to implement something like that. Cheering fans is not going to cut it. Got a prayer to Nuffle. That's not going to matter either. Really good kick here by ST. Are those Blood Bowl AIs, are they open source in that competition? Like, can we look at them? Nothing but SPP and perhaps trying to get some removals here for the Juggernauts. Final turn in the first quarter. Oh, failed the animal savagery roll. Thankfully, only a stun. Bad turn to fail that. That'll work out thanks to the block skill. Hey! Great removal here. The Oppo is going to be spent on the Ogre and will work out. Saves the Ogre. Burned through ST's Apothecary here. Great injury in the big guy, but the Apothecary saves it. BB Nut. That's a good question. I might just stick it. So I made a decision that for this UI layout, the watermark goes right here. And I just put them right over these buttons. There's a spot here that you can put maybe a bar. I generally like things to be out of the way. You know, everybody's different though. Everybody has their own tastes and opinions and things. All right, 2-die block on the line here gets a push against Blanca. All the blocks in the blitz taken, nothing to do with pass for some SPP. This is going to be a short pass by Yolanda, if successful. It'll be Yolanda's 14th. Oh, no pass. All right. Didn't even try it. That'll be the end of the half. 1-0, ST in the lead. Juxtaposed Juggernauts are going to be on offense to start the second half of this game. The icon's a good question. If the bar is in the middle here, I might put it maybe here. I don't know if you have anything else there, but I might put it there. You could put it up in a corner or something. I find this information important, this information important, this information important here. This isn't necessarily important. I think it's important. It's nice. I like to have this up. But you could close the log and stick it over here. Otherwise, you have over here. And if you didn't fill up the bottom, you could put it right here. KG Blue says, I keep getting the Uber Eats ad with the dude in the office wearing no pants. Traumatizing. 3 wide on the defense here for ST. All 3 big guys in the secondary. Let's call them linebackers. Let's call them very, very deep linebackers. Yeah, you bet, BB-Nut. 7 on the line for the Juggernauts. Here's the kick. Deep kick. It's going to be a touchback. It will go in the hands of one of these players, probably Yolanda. Yes, indeed. Turn 9 now for the Juggernauts. Back up to 3 re-rolls for the remainder of the game. They have 5 minutes, 50 seconds on the bonus clock. Ian powering up in the picture-in-picture. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. 9-3. That's an interesting concept. That's pretty cool. Advances this ball up to his own 6-yard line, right at center pitch. Has taken no blocks yet. Probably trying to figure out where he wants the blitz to go before taking his blocks. Goes ahead and takes a block on the right end. Breaks armor. Got a KO. 1-man player advantage for the Juggernauts currently. Gets a knockdown on the left defensive end. No armor break here, though. Two-die block on the center defensive tackle will be a POW. Big 10 plus to break armor. Two-die blitz over in the right wide zone. This is going to be a turnover unless he risks the loner re-roll. And he's contemplating this decision. He says, do I need to? Honestly, I think he just sucks this up. I think he doesn't re-roll this. Ogre's knocked down. Goes again next turn. Yeah, I think that was a good call. That'll be a turnover. Turn 9 now. Back to ST. Yeah. It was because I was drawing on the screen. Whenever I draw on the screen. Somebody's armor gets broken. Or somebody... or something bad happens, I should say. Gets to the boneheader roll to mark 3 players with Zangief. Strength 5 on Zangief. That means this is just a 1 die block coming back. The Juggernauts might, well, may have, except now there's going to be a push on Icor, the number 8, keep in mind, and Frenzy follow up here into a 2 die block. Gets a pal, gets the knockdown, and will mark the ball carrier. Well done. Would have been a 1 die block coming back on the Ogre, and may have taken that risk with the block skill, since the Ogre does not have block. But a moot point now. Boy, how many of these rolls? Oh, that was a 50-50, all right. Tried to reposition the Minotaur here. So Unchanneled Fury, that's the nega trait for the Minotaur. If you're not taking a block, if you're taking a block or a blitz, the Unchanneled Fury roll is just a 2+. But if you're not blocking or blitzing, it's a 4+. It's a 50-50. So we tried to reposition the Minotaur. It didn't work out. Turn 10 back to the Juggernauts now. Yolanda, the ball carrier, Blodger, currently marked by Akuma. I'm sorry, Akuma! Been playing this really old PlayStation RPG that I played when it came out. It came out in '99, I think. I've been replaying it because they released it on the PlayStation 5. It's called Legend of Dragoon. It was basically Sony's answer to Final Fantasy VII. It's Final Fantasy VII with Power Rangers. I've been having a lot of fun with it. Yeah, why can't I say this? I keep wanting to say Legend of Legaia, because that was another game. Legend of Dragoon is a great game. I love that game. Juggernauts might be trying to set up a cage over on the 4-yard line, just to the right of Akuma the Rat Ogre. If that's the case, is he looking for... I don't know how he's going to fill in the back of the cage. Takes a die block before moving the ball carrier. Ooh, good injury. No oppo this time, so that is a removal. Well done. Good dis- Got through that dodge. So Akuma has a prehensile tail that makes that dodge a +1. That was a 4+ dodge he just took with Yolanda. Got through without needing to re-roll. Hank the Ranger says, that injury makes me want some pancakes. Oh? With 11 random ingredients? Failed the dodge with number 11 here. Probably re-rolls this. He does. Trying to fill in the back right corner of the cage. It's not really in any threat over here. Could move up here on the front right corner of the cage, but he'll stay there. 1 die block on Skullomania will be a push. Skullomania way over on the left side of the line. Another 50-50 dodge, not going to work out this time with Andre the Nutter. There's the dodge, that's going to... Oh. Spent the reroll on it. Spent the reroll, failed the dodge, down to 1 reroll for the game. Turn 10 now for ST. Mr. Bison on the 50-50 unchanneled Fury will reposition over to the right side of the pitch. Blanca stands up. He's currently marked by Rizzo, the number 3 Rat Ogre. Vega moves into the secondary. 2 die block on Icor. Gets a push into a frenzy follow-up. Into another push. That would have been a good block here. Get the assist to make that a 2 die block. That's really what he was looking for. Reroll the both down result with that brawler skill. When you roll a both down result, you can re-roll 1 both down die with brawler for free. Rerolls it into a push. So a good way to use this, right? It's a good way to, like, if you roll a skull in both down, you re-roll the both down. But if you got a good result in both down, like a safe result, maybe a push, just like you did in that scenario, you're free to re-roll the both down and fish for something better. Fish for that pal. It's a rare thing in Blood Bowl where you get to re-roll a partial die pool. Usually you have to re-roll the entire pool. Push on the ball carrier on the blitz. Rush is back into position on the 6-yard line here with Ken, the number 4 skating player. Takes the 1 die on last dance, gets a pow out of it. Didn't get the 2 die, but didn't need it. Turn 11, back to the Juggernauts. They're currently behind by a touchdown. They're in possession of the ball in their right wide zone on their 2-yard line. I'm on a mission to play every version of Blood Bowl. When I was a kid, I played 3rd edition. And then there was Blood Bowl with the LRB rules, and now there's BB 2020. I never played 1st edition, never played 2nd edition. I never played 4th edition, not BB 2016, but 4th edition, which were a set of rules in a pair of magazines. So I played 1st edition a few weeks ago. It's Isaac asked, "Did you try Blitz Bowl?" Yeah, I own Ultimate Edition. Blitz Bowl's great. I love Blitz Bowl. Yeah, I've played lots of, like, I've played Dungeon Bowl, I played Blitz Bowl, I played Gutter Bowl, I played Sevens. Played 1st edition. It is quite the different game. Very, very different game. It's more like 40, or it's more like Warhammer Fantasy, like old school Warhammer Fantasy with a football. Played 2nd edition. 2nd edition is still very different, but a lot closer to kind of what we're used to. But what I find very interesting from a game design perspective is you play 1st edition. It takes 1 drive. It takes 1 drive to learn. You're like, oh, that's why they added GFIs. You play 2nd edition. It takes just a handful of blocks, and you're like, oh, that's why they added following up to blocks. So it's very interesting to see sort of the evolution of the game over time. 2-die block on Ken. This will be a both standing result unless he re-rolls it. He decides to. Works out. He's going to get the knockdown here. But Ken, with that prayer to Nuffle, has an AV of 9+ and no armor break. Would have been if it weren't for Nuffle's I was going to say interference. Please forgive me, Lord Nuffle. Intervention. Von Roo says combat skill is a thing in OG Blood Bowl. Yeah, in first edition Blood Bowl, there aren't just blocks. There's just straight up attacks. Von Roo says, "Are you talking about Monsters of the Midway?" No, Monsters of the Midway was made by SSI, I think. But Blood Bowl, actual Blood Bowl, had a fourth edition rule set in a couple of magazines, which apparently everyone hated. But I do want to give it a shot. I have those magazines. Turn 11 now for ST. There's a one combat. All right, I'm gonna give you my conspiracy theory here. So after fourth edition, right? There's third edition. Fourth edition was not a box product. After that, there was a committee set up, and that was the living rule book, right? That was LRB, and we had 6 iterations of that, unless you count the CRP as well, right? But Blood Bowl was kind of in the hands of the fans for a long while, until Blood Bowl 2016. Now, Blood Bowl came back in a box product in 2016 with very minimal rule changes, basically the CRP still. So it was the rules everyone was playing for years and years. And here's my conspiracy theory. You ready? Games Workshop, their last box product for Blood Bowl was 3rd edition. That was in the 90s. Now, they reprinted that a bunch up until the turn of the century, I think. Like, there was a 3rd printing, I think, up in 2001. But from that point until 2016, there were no Blood Bowl box products. And then when the CRP came out, Games Workshop, understandably had all their IP removed from the rulebook, right? So all the pictures and all the fluff was removed. Uphill block. Wow, works out on the uphill block on the ogre. Oh boy. And he breaks armor to add insult to injury. Oh man. Took the 2-die uphill. Got double pals out of this thanks to the block skill, and got a KO on the big guy. Wow. But anyway, so Games Workshop came back with a box product in 2016, but the rules were the CRP basically. Here's what I think happened. A year before that, there was a Kickstarter for a game called Slaughter Ball. I have Slaughter Ball. Slaughter Ball came out in 2016. Slaughter Ball was very clearly meant to be a modern version, a love letter to Blood Bowl. So Blood Bowl, Slaughter Ball it's like Blood Bowl but handball. It's really good. It's very much Blood Bowl. So I think Games Workshop saw this and saw the success of Slaughter Ball and like, nah, we want a piece of this. And so they released Blood Bowl in 2016, and then in 2020 we got the new rule set. That's my conspiracy theory. Von Roo says, "What's the CRP?" CRP was the renaming of the LRB. It was competition rules pack, I think is what it stands for. Gets a push on Mr. Bison, the Minotaur, in this scrum over in the right wide zone now. Ball on the opposing 4-yard line. Yeah, I never played Guild Ball. I saw it played. I never played it myself. Gets a skull, gets KO'd. Boy, what a series of turns this has been. Final turn of the 3rd quarter. And now a 2-die block over in the scrum that's starting to thin out here. Gets a pal on Ralph, the number 4 human lineman. This is the kicker. Now a 2-die block on Walla the Ballista. Gets a pal. Breaks armor. Wow, another injury. Look at all this. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it's a 2-man player advantage currently. Two-die block's gonna get the knockdown on. Gonna get a push on Yolanda. And now a 2-die block on Yolanda is gonna be a push, but a frenzy follow-up coming up. 3-die frenzy follow-up, and can you believe it? Yolanda's gonna remain on her feet here. Reposition Blanca to get a 2-die on Andre the Nutter. We'll get a knockdown here, looking for a 9+, but clears that column a bit in the left sideline. Failed the animal savagery roll by Akuma. Doesn't have an ally nearby, so Akuma is going to lose his turn and his tackle zones. That's going to free up the orc and the human way back in the backfield. Asic says the birds are starting to sing outside my window. Is that a cue to go to bed? Nah. I got to bed, we'll just say late last night. I got to bed at a very similar time last night. Turn 13, fourth and final quarter begins. The Juggernauts with no rerolls remaining. ST has all 4 of theirs. Juggernauts move Ferdinand back into the safety position. The problem is Ferdinand, it's a 50-50 whether Ferdinand even gets to activate unless he's blocking or blitzing. Oh, hey, happy Necro Day! Hooray! It's about 1 hour. 1 hour for us here on the East Coast in the U.S. One die block on Dawson. Gets a push on Sim. And now this means it's a positive dodge for Yolanda if Yolanda wants to move down pitch. I don't know how safe that is. Gobsmacked. Gobsmacked at what just happened. SP Beaver, thank you for the bits of the emergency rush warning. One dodge is all he needed. Took 3 of them. One of them was a 5+ dodge. But failed, of course, on the rush. And got injured for his trouble. BB Nut graciously lowering the rush failure rate from 900% to 99%. Wow. 3+, 3+, 5+ dodge. No problem. 2 rushes, fails the rush. Gets removed from the pitch, and now ST in good shape to win this ball game. 2-die block gets a pal on Adelbert Legs. BB Nuts is my no scoring threat. Let's make it happen, Ferdinand. Let's go. Fails the rush. You didn't learn the first time, Ian? Good pick up by Vega to recover the ball. Von Roo, thank you very much for the bits. He did get 3 6s. Good Lord. Let me see those dice. Float those dice. I want to see those dice. Turn 14 for the Juggernauts. Let's go, Ferdinand. You got this, buddy. Get him. Get him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get the surf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get the surf. Have the ball bounce right here. You've got 1 rush to pick it up. You've got it, buddy. This is all you. This is all you, Ferdinand. You don't wear number 1 for no reason. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Turn 14 for ST. They're going to probably try to set up a scoring attempt here. Handoff to Dalsum coming up. That's why I love Blood Bowl, yeah. It's great. I love this game, man. Oh, no handoff attempt here. All right, fair enough. Doesn't think he can keep the ball safe. I thought the ball would be plenty safe. 2-dive block on Adelbert. He's going to get a knockdown. Looking for an 8+ thanks to Claw. Doesn't get it. Gets a protective pocket set up on the ball carrier. Going to try to get a second score out of this game. This is the final game of this competition for both of these teams. I believe both these coaches have been carrying these teams through from the Chaos Cup. We'll probably see the teams again in the Dungeon Bowl, but this will be their last game of the Spike Magazine Trophy. Failed the bonehead roll with the ogre. Spent the reroll. That is the second time he succeeded on the loner roll and failed the boneheaded roll. Man, Nuffle has a sense of humor. 2-dive block with the rat ogre gets the knockdown. Has to follow up here to the frenzy. Turn 15 now for the Juggernauts. I don't think they have a single standing player. Oh, I'm sorry, Isaac. It's the Dungeon Bowl is just what we call the third competition. It's not the actual game of Dungeon Bowl. It is a big convention. They're just hanging out like, what's up? Check out my lats. Not a whole lot to do here. Spent the blitz on the Minotaur, but that was a failure. What? Boy, another one. Takes an uphill blow. Oh, he has somebody standing. Somebody's standing! Well, not anymore. Turn 15 for ST. Hand off to Ken, it looks like, to get some SPP. 3 SPP for a touchdown. Got through the animosity roll, failed the catch. We'll spend the reroll here. That worked out. And no more chances really need to be taken. They'll advance this ball to the 12. And, ooh. Can he reposition someone here? Might reposition somebody in front of Icor just in case. Oh man, failed the boneheaded roll. Was he going after Icor? Or no, he was going after Mr. Bison. No, he's not going after Mr. Bison. That's his own player. Who was he going after? Oh, he didn't spend the blitz. I guess a repositioning. Nobody's succeeding die rolls anymore. It's going to reposition Akuma probably in front of number 8, since that's the only real threat. Number 7's a threat. Number 12 is maybe a threat. But a block, yeah, a block on number 7 should handle. Well, only got a push out of it. Frenzy follow-up. I would take the both down result. Oh wait, this might be out of range. Yeah, that's good. That's good. S'mores Dragon says, I must have missed the Mr. Bison Street Fighter character. Yeah, that was M. Bison's dad. He's a real nice guy. He'll always take you to sports practice, like if your parents are too busy. He's a sweetheart. And BB Nuts is succeeding die rolls is for tryhards. What, you need to succeed die rolls to win? Please get out of here. Broken Armor, can he get SPP out of this? Can not. He can not. Turn 16 for the Juggernauts. Not a whole lot to do here except try to dodge out Andre the Nutter and stop the score, but that's going to be a dodge and 2 rushes. I don't know if he cares that much. It is a rookie though, so why not try? Gets the knockdown by Ferdinand, the number 1 Minotaur. Could have been the hero to score, but can't keep his feet underneath him. Just 2 left hooves. Repositions Last Dance to get an assist on Skullomania. Gets a push on Skullomania. He's looking for more than this. Turn 16 for ST. I think with 1 reroll. I mean, he could roll dice, but I think he just score. That's 3 SPP. I wouldn't want to let that go to waste, and that's exactly what he's going to do. 2-0 is going to be the final of this game. Congratulations to Ian. 1 last win to finish out the competition. And the Street Fighter Turbo Max cheerleader celebrating their victory. Well done. Hank the Ranger says GG and night all. Good night, Hank the Ranger. Thanks for hanging out with us. And with that win, ST is going to advance into 6th place here in Division A. That's their final game of the competition. And we've only got 1 game left to stream in Week 9. Let's take a look at the schedule before we leave. Two games are going to be played tomorrow, Wednesday evening, but they will be unaired. And the final game left to be scheduled sorry about that. The final game left to be scheduled is going to be I Want to Be Like Doug versus Harlequins BBFC. I need to Oh, all these buttons I have to press. The final game left to be scheduled is going to be I Want to Be Like Doug versus Harlequins BBFC, Richard Cranian versus BB Nut, Dwarves versus Undead. That will be the last game of regulation play here in the Spike Magazine Trophy. And after that, we've got the semi-finals. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the standings and just go over the seating one more time before we leave. So the Real American Heroes, they still have their final game left to play this week. If they win, they will be the top seed, and they will be facing off against Cenozoic Park in the semifinals. If they don't win, then Cenozoic Park will be facing off against the White Skull Windbreakers instead. They will be the top seed. Alphidas Australis will be the third place seed, so they're going to face off against either the Windbreakers or the Real American Heroes. Those are our final four. After our Week 9 game gets scheduled, then the semifinals will start to be scheduled. And when those games get scheduled, you'll be able to check out and get alerted to those schedules on our website at maml.club. That's MAML.CLUB, here on Twitch, or on our social media pages on Blue Sky, Twitter, and man... There you go, those places. On Blue Sky, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also watch previous games on our YouTube channel. Play Blood Bowl, guys. This game is so much fun. You can play Blood Bowl via Blood Bowl 3 on Steam, the Epic Game Store, PlayStation, and Xbox, and in tabletop form at your friendly local game store. Until our final game here in Week 9, everyone, take care and enjoy the rest of your Monday evening. And happy Necro Day!